Beauties. I'm Kathleen from Bronze Magazine. Today I'll be interviewing Rebekah Livingston, owner of Rebekah Rich Brow Beauty here in NYC. You'll get the inside scoop on life in NYC, her journey to becoming a successful entrepreneur, and some beauty tips to keep that skin looking flawless. Stay tuned. Hey Bronze Beauties, right now I'm here with Rebekah Livingston, owner of Rebekah Brow Beauty here in NYC. How are you today, Rebekah?
Good, how are you?
I'm doing fine.
Good.
So one question that I have for you is, tell me about your path to owning this business. Where did you go to school?
I went to school in Portland, Oregon at a beauty school called Fagan's. First I started out the traditional route going to college, but I just felt like it wasn't for me. So I quit and ended up getting into beauty school and opened my spot right out of school.
Okay. Was beauty something that you've always been interested in, or did it take some time for you to find yourself?
Yeah, I was always interested. I had an aunt that owned her own salon, so I grew up going to her salon and being inspired. She did hair, but I was always inspired and I always wanted my own salon.
Oh, okay, cool. So like you would say that your aunt was like sort of an influence on you?
She was an influence, yes.
You've had this salon in NYC for about a year now. So were you nervous at all about moving to a new city, like moving to a place where you probably didn't know that many people? And like, how did you adjust to the change?
Yeah, I was very nervous. And actually what happened was I came out here on a visit, and one of my girlfriends kind of showed me around the city a little bit. And while I was out here visiting, an apartment fell into my lap and a place for my business, which happens to be a different place than this. So when I went back to Portland, the intention was for me to move to North Carolina.
Okay.
But I decided, well, things are falling into place in New York City. I never imagined myself living there, but I'll take a chance. And I sold my business in Portland and moved out here.
Okay.
Just like that. I mean, it's very different from Portland though. It's the exact opposite from here. So it's extremely clean. People are nice and friendly. It's very laid back though. So I feel like there's a kind of a lack of ambition, or just a very relaxed way of living, whereas out here everything's fast paced and people are definitely a lot more ambitious. So yeah, it's night and day.
Okay.
But
yeah,
I was ready.
That was actually going to be my next question too. How would you compare business in NYC to Portland? But you've answered that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and actually, I started my business in Portland to be a skincare business for people of color. However, the concentration of Black people in Portland is just under 3%. So that didn't really work for what I was trying to do. So out here it's been, whereas I would say out of probably about 3,000 clients I had in Portland, maybe 10 to 20 of them were Black, whereas out here it's more like 60 or 70% Black clientele.
Awesome. So if you had to do it all over again, as far as owning a business, what would you have done differently?
I would have gotten a mentor up front. Okay. I probably would have worked for someone first to see how their business ran, rather than to open my own place and just do trial and error. Of course, you're always going to have different trials when you have your own business, but it would have been better for me to know how the business side works before just jumping into it. I was 22 at the time. Wow. And it was very difficult to try to figure out what to do, how to get clientele, what was appealing to customers, what kept customers, things like that. So yeah, that's
No, that's perfect. So what would you be doing right now if you weren't an entrepreneur?
I would be teaching reading.
Okay. Oh, it's funny that you brought that up, because I know that in your spare time you actually mentor at-risk youth in reading and math. So tell me about that. And you also have a organization called Change the Definition.
Yes.
So tell us more about that.
So that's my passion, and that's actually something that I got into. One of my clients, I was probably a year into business at that time, so it was about 2004. And one of my clients was a teacher in Portland Public Schools. She was teaching 2nd and 3rd grade. And just because of budget cuts and things, she lost her teacher's assistant. So she asked me to come in on a couple days a week to help her out with the kids that were falling behind. So I did that just as a favor to her, and I ended up really loving it. So I did that for a couple of years, and then she retired, so I kind of let it fall by the wayside. And then a couple of years later, I ended up reading a book where it was saying, like, you need to figure out things in your life, you have to help other people. Right. And at that same time, me and my brother went to a Portland Trailblazers game where this organization that was sponsored in part by the Trailblazers popped up on the screen, and it was called SMART, which stands for Start Making a Reader Today. So I decided to volunteer for that, and I did that for a good 6 years. And that takes kids and puts them with one mentor throughout the whole school year to help them get up to reading their reading level that they are supposed to be at for their grade level. So I did that several years in a row. I made great relationships with some of the kids in there, and unfortunately, you know, a lot of the kids are minority kids that are falling behind, so we had that connection as well. And then after SMART, I started my own program, which because of lack of funding in the school system, I kind of wanted to figure out ways to put money into programs like SMART. And then I created a reading program of my own, which is funded by t-shirts and bracelets that I sell.
Okay, cool. So for any women out there that are interested in starting their own business, what advice would you give to those aspiring entrepreneurs?
To plan, that's the most important piece. Like Jay-Z says, you have to see the end in the beginning. And that's a very important piece of information, not only for setting the right path for yourself, but to envision where you're going to end up. And sometimes we don't know how things are going to come together, but as long as you see the end picture, a lot of things will start flowing together. You'll meet the right people at the right time. And they say luck is opportunity meeting preparedness.
Women out there that are interested in taking better care of their skin, what beauty tips do you have for them?
Most important is to wash your face twice a day. In the morning, you need to wash your face lightly because you have sweat, you have slobber, you have dirt and hair product that have gotten on your pillow that you sleep on. So it's important to get that off your face before you go out, and also before you put on your moisturizer or any type of serum on top of that. The second wash of the day is the most important wash because you're washing off the city, you're washing off all the dirt and oil, all the grime, everything that comes going into the subways and exhaust and all that stuff. And sweat is always a real big one because we don't understand how much our body sweats throughout the day because we don't see it until we start working out or something. But you're sweating all day long, and that is making your skin hold on to dirt and oil. Okay. So that's one. And then the second one that is real big for people of color is that you need to wear sunscreen every single day. Regardless if it's raining or snowing, anything, the sun is always there, and we need to be protected from UVB rays that are around all year round. And if you're wearing SPF, you can either get it a specific one for your face in your cosmetics, your foundation, your skincare, your moisturizer. It should be an SPF 15 or an SPF 30. Once you get up above SPF 30, it's not going to make much of a difference. And if you're out in the sun, you want to reapply your SPF. Use the rule that if it's SPF 15 times whatever the SPF is by 10. So if it's SPF 15, it's 150 minutes that you need to reapply. So if it's SPF 30, then 300 minutes. So that's a good rule of thumb to use, but you need to wear SPF every single day.
I never heard that rule before. I always assumed that it was reapply every 2 hours, but thank you for letting us know.
Well, that's pretty much like an SPF 150 minutes would be like 2.5 hours. Yeah. So yeah. Okay. That's just an easy way to remember. Yeah.
Okay. And I feel that SPF is very important too, because I feel that women of color have this misconception that because we have more melanin in our skin, that we don't really need to apply SPF because our melanin already protects us. But you don't necessarily agree with that, right?
Well, I agree with that to a certain extent, but the melanin is protecting you more than it would protect somebody that's lighter than you. Okay. But I tell people all the time, you're not in competition with somebody lighter than you or white people or anything. You're in competition with the sun, and you're not going to win against the sun. So you just need to be protected from those powerful rays.
Okay. You hear that, ladies? Make sure you use SPF
every day.
So the model peel facial is a popular thing that you do at the salon, and you also do eyebrow shaping. So what do clients come to you most for?
More for the model peel, which is a facial that I created. I had some models that were referred to me Fashion Week 2 years ago, and one of them had a really bad breakout because she ate some eggs. She was allergic to eggs. So she developed dark spots, really bad acne, really severe irritation, and I mixed up some stuff and gave her a facial and had her put the serum that I mixed up on her face. And after 2 weeks, it was much, much better. It was almost cleared up. Then she came back for another facial and mixed her up some more of the serum. And by the time she needed to walk for Heidi Klum's fashion show, she was basically, her skin looked almost, it did pre-irritation or pre-breakout. She came back the next year for Fashion Week and asked for the same treatment because she had another bad breakout, and I did the same thing, but I was thinking like, this is a problem that a lot of women of color have that is not being addressed. So I mixed some of it up again. It worked great for her. She took some back to Paris, and then I said, I need to bottle this up and sell it. So so that's one thing that I'm adding.
And it's been successful ever since.
Yes, yeah.
So if you had to choose an actress to play you in the movie, who would you choose? I feel that you have some resemblance to Regina King.
Regina King, I've never heard. But what is Lady Mark? I always forget her name. Tisha Campbell. We just said Campbell. It. I can't even remember. Tisha Campbell, I feel like she's really funny sometimes, and she's quirky. It seems like we have a similar personality, plus look a little bit alike. And then she can get serious when it's time to get serious. So I like her.
Absolutely. So for interested clients that are interested in reaching out to you, how can they make an appointment? What's your Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook?
My Facebook is www.facebook.com/I am Rebekah Rich, and Rebekah Rich is spelled RebekahRich. My Instagram is it's Rebekah Rich and Rebekah Rich Beauty. And if you want to make an appointment, you can visit my website at RebekahRich.com, RebekahRich.com.
Do you take walk-ins or is it solely appointment?
By appointment.
Okay. Okay, Bronze Beauties, thank you for watching us today. That's the end of our interview.
Thank you.
Sun will always shine, sun will always shine, sun will always shine.